You know that feeling when you're completely trapped by a terrible mood, where just one tiny piece of criticism practically ruins your entire week? Well, what if I told you that reaction wasn't actually a reflection of reality, but literally just a glitch in your mental software? Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're unpacking David.D.Burns' landmark work in cognitive behavioral therapy to give you the exact cognitive blueprints you need to debug your mind and build absolutely unshakable emotional resilience. Let's get into it.
Okay, so think about this for a second. When you're stressed and even basic daily tasks look like this massive, insurmountable mountain, it feels incredibly real, right? But here's the crazy part. It might not be reality at all. It's highly likely you're just running faulty, outdated software in your brain. And the absolute best part about software? Once you find the bugs, you can debug and rewrite the whole system.
So here is the core of it all, the absolute foundational mechanism of cognitive behavioral therapy. We aren't actually reacting to the physical world around us. We're reacting to the automatic thoughts we have about the world. Your feelings follow your thoughts, not reality. Think about it. Imagine a friend doesn't text you back. The silence didn't cause your sudden anxiety. The split-second thought that said, "Oh man, they're mad at me," is what actually caused it.
All right, let's jump right into part one, the cognitive feedback loop and how we can start rewiring your inner critic. Those automatic negative thoughts we just talked about, they totally rely on specific cognitive distortions to create a vicious, toxic feedback loop. You've got all or nothing thinking, where if you aren't absolutely perfect, you feel like a total failure. Then there's catastrophizing, where, a minor typo in an email is mentally spun into this life-ruining career disaster. And emotional reasoning, where you assume that just because you feel like a loser in the moment, you must actually be one. These distortions hijack your brain and cause an immediate emotional nosedive.
So, how do we stop it? You can use a super practical tool called the 3-column technique. Step 1, you just write down the negative thought. Step 2, you identify which specific distortion is driving it. And step 3, you write down a rational response to replace it. Actually taking a pen and physically writing this out is a game changer. It forces your brain to shift from emotional panic mode into objective analysis. And that objectivity literally breaks the toxic feedback loop.
This technique is exactly how we can eliminate toxic guilt too. Just look at the massive difference between shoulds and should-haves. If you skip a workout, telling yourself "I should be at the gym" demands perfection. It frames your action as a moral failure and triggers immediate guilt. But if you reframe it to "I should have gone to the gym, but hey, I didn't get enough sleep," everything changes. You shift away from self-blame to a practical, conditional fact. It suddenly becomes a learning process instead of a punishment.
Moving right along to part two, beating the avalanche effect, which really comes down to putting action before motivation. We've all been here with this action glitch, right? Depression and stress often trigger what's called an avalanche effect. This is when basic, everyday tasks like literally just folding a pile of laundry suddenly feel so completely overwhelming that you freeze up. You become totally paralyzed. And then that paralysis just generates more guilt, which feeds right back into the negative thought loop we just dismantled.
The ultimate hack for this is a daily activity schedule. You basically break tasks down into ridiculously tiny increments, but the secret sauce is scoring them. For every action, you log 2 scores from 1 to 10, a mastery score for accomplishment and a pleasure score for enjoyment. So washing the dishes might give you a solid 7 for mastery, but an abysmal 3 for pleasure. Reading a single page of a book might flip that entirely. Logging these objective scores interrupts your mind's tendency to just sit there and ruminate on how impossible everything feels.
And honestly, this reveals a massive paradigm shift. Action creates motivation, not the other way around. We spend so much of our lives waiting until we finally feel motivated to do something. But by completing a tiny, scheduled task and scoring it, you're proving to your own brain that action has to come first. Taking that first microscopic step yanks your focus firmly back to the present and generates the actual motivation you need to keep going.
Okay, part 3. Let's talk about dealing with other people. How to disarm hostility and stop conflict dead in its tracks.
When we face external conflict or criticism, our absolute first instinct is to defend, attack, or retreat, and all of those just escalate the situation. Instead, try the disarming technique. First, find a grain of truth in the critical remark, no matter how deeply buried or annoying it is. Second, agree with that specific part. Third, calmly ask open-ended questions to genuinely understand their perspective. Agreeing takes the wind completely out of their sails. It protects you from taking their anger personally and forces them to pause and reflect. It is essentially a conversational superpower. Closely related to the fear of hostility is something almost everyone struggles with at some point, and that's approval addiction. This stems from the incredibly common but extremely dangerous underlying belief that another person's rejection is a direct, accurate measurement of your personal worth.
So, how do we break this addiction? Well, we look at the raw data, and the number 0 is highly significant here. If you start keeping an empirical log, like literally counting the times you spoke up, voiced an unpopular opinion, or just acted authentically without being rejected, you're going to see something amazing. That catastrophic world-ending scenario your anxious brain keeps predicting, it happens almost exactly 0 times. Objective evidence completely shatters the illusion.
But, hey, what if you do face rejection? Let's just redefine it. Disapproval is simply a reflection of the other person's standards, their expectations, or their current stress levels. It is not a reflection of you. If someone disapproves of you, use that disarming technique we covered. Ask them what specific outcome they were actually hoping for. Doing this proves in real time that their disapproval is entirely about their own internal state and has absolutely nothing to do with your intrinsic value.
Which brings us to our final section, Part 4, Achieving True Emotional Resilience by Separating a Want from a Literal Need.
To achieve true emotional resilience, we have to dismantle relationship dependency. You know, that suffocating anxiety that comes from believing we absolutely need a partner just to survive. Doing a quick cost-benefit analysis breaks this down objectively. On one side, the cost of dependency is intense, constant relationship anxiety. On the other side, the benefits of autonomy are immense: self-reliance, empowerment, and true freedom. Sure, autonomy might come with occasional loneliness, but seeing the data mapped out reveals just how toxic the illusion of needing someone really is.
So here is a real, actionable challenge for you. The number 50. Try building a self-reliance schedule of 50 solo activities. Take yourself out to a nice dinner, pursue a random new hobby, go to a movie alone. Checking off these solo activities proves to your brain that you are fully capable of generating your own mastery and enjoyment. It shifts romantic love from being this desperate requirement for survival back to what it should be, a really healthy, optional preference.
As we wrap up this explainer today, I want to leave you with one big, provocative question to carry with you. The next time your mood suddenly drops or you feel that anxiety spiking, ask yourself, are you actually reacting to reality right now or just your automatic thoughts about it? As you go through your week, challenge that inner critic, track your small wins, and remember, you hold the pen. You literally have the tools to rewrite your mental software starting right now. Thanks so much for exploring this with us, and we'll see you in the next one.